But maybe today you're in here and you're like, Casey, I can't believe you would even mention the word rejoice and suffering. If only you knew the suffering that I was under. Maybe that's for you in a prison this morning. If only I knew. How could I even mention rejoicing? Maybe today you're in a great season. You're enjoying life. Things are good. It's easy to be here. You know, we've had friends that when lockdowns came, they've actually walked away from their church family, not just in this country, in other countries too, because I think as the church, particularly the evangelical church, we've often done a misjustice to our congregations. We speak, as we should, that, you know, God is so good, he is faithful, he is in it, he's going to come through, he's going to bring breakthrough, which is all true, and it's all true, and I'm here for it. But, you know, sometimes we forget to talk about what happens when it doesn't feel like he has done those things. And some of our friends that walked away, I can't tell you all the ins and outs, but I think some of them didn't know that God that's the same God in the valley as the God who's with us on the mountaintop. And I love that Pastor Steve and Andrew, just want to take a moment's honor, have built a church here that we don't just get hyped up on a Sunday, but actually they have built a church that equips us from Monday through to Saturday to go out and make a difference in our world. I'm so grateful for that. Just this week in our news, last night even, there was stabbings in London. There was talks of missiles. A young fan of Lewis Hamilton died aged 5 of terminal illness. There was a video that showed abuse to patients in care. 20 children sat in school this week, lost their lives. They were sat in Indonesia and an earthquake came. They lost their lives. There was mass shootings in America. And you know, all that stuff is just some of the things that popped up on my news app on my phone this week. There's probably far more I could have gone into. So why does suffering happen? Why does God allow this stuff to happen? I'm sure all of us have thought on this or been asked this before. Why does this happen? Let's pick up in 1 Peter 4. He writes, "The end of all things are near. Therefore be alert and of sober mind so that you may pray. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in his various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do so as the one who speaks the very words of God. And if anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ." He's saying here, and this is my first point, we need one another. Above all, love each other deeply. We need one another. Right now on your row, there's someone who's on that mountaintop place. There's someone who is in that place of, you know, it was easy to get out of bed, to come in, to enter into the worship this morning. It was easy for them. They can feel, it's tangible for them, the presence of God. But also on your row right now, there is someone who's in the valley season. It was a battle to get here. Maybe mentally, maybe even physically, to get to this place was a battle. Their life is not anywhere near what they imagined life to be right now. David writes in the Psalms, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me." Yes, he's with all of us, but there are some people right now on your very row who they're feeling like, God, are you even with me? I feel like I'm camped out in this valley of the shadow of death. God, I did not imagine my life to be like this. Where are you? And Peter's writing, he says, rejoice there. Rejoice in that place. And it's no accident right now that the house of God, the church, we find ourselves, those that are on mountaintop places, those that are in valley places, we find ourselves on the very same pew. It's the way God designed it. And here Peter's saying, love each other deeply. He's talking to believers here who they're in grief. They are losing their lives. They are in fear. But he's saying, don't wait. Don't wait until this ordeal's over. Love each other right now. Be hospitable right now. Come on, we have got this. This is the way it is designed. Even when we don't feel like rejoicing. You know, there is one next to us that you might be like, I just don't want you to be rejoicing right now. But actually, God has purposed it to be this way. We find ourselves together in his house. So when's the last time, I want to challenge some of us, that we opened our house to maybe a grieving widow? Hospitable in those seasons. When's the last time for you that Maybe you said to someone, I'm not talking about, when we're on the mountaintop, we can sometimes say, praise Jesus, amen, God works all things together for good. I'm not saying we need to always be like that, but actually let's say, I'm going to get alongside you. I can commit to praying every single day. I'm going to set a reminder in my phone. I'm going to commit to praying for you until you get out the other side of this, because you will get out the other side of this. And so when life is tough, love deeper. Peter's warning, do not isolate ourselves because the going gets tough. But stay in community. When we're isolated, we are at our most vulnerable. Stay connected. Stay in relationships. There's only so much of this stuff we can do on Sundays. I'm not talking here just about Sundays, who's next to us on the pew. You'd look at me funny if I said to you, I'm a wife and I'm a mum to our 2 kids, but only on Sundays. You'd be like, some of you'd be like, oh, sounds great. But you'd be like, what? Some of us can do that in the church too. We can be Sunday family. That's not the way God's purposed it. That's not the way it's designed. We're not called to do that. We're meant to be there in the highs and the lows of each other's life. We need to stay connected. And I can't really get my head around, we hear often in church stats, people come to church less and less all the time, and probably even speaking into this is losing a fighting battle, but people come sometimes once a month. It's more common now. That's kind of committed church members doing that, not in this church, I'm talking globally. And I can't get my head around it because Peter's saying, maintain constant love, maintain constant, walk with one another, be with one another.
If you enjoyed this video today, why don't you click subscribe and click on that notification bell to get a notification the next time we upload a video. And if you're new or you've been coming to the C3 Church for a little while now, why don't you find out what your next step might be in the journey of faith? Click on the next step link in the description below to find out what your next step in your journey might be.